Advertising for a video game is a little bit weird, and I think it's a lot harder than other types of media. You watch a trailer for a movie or a TV show and you think, that looks pretty good. I'd like to see 2 more hours of that, please. Or you see the Borderlands movie trailer and you think, maybe this whole life thing isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe it's not worth living. Either way, you get a pretty good grasp on what the experience is going to be. With video games, it's a little bit harder to convey the true experience of a game without getting your paws on a controller and actually playing it. So that leaves the game companies having to get a little bit clever with their marketing tactics. And then you end up with something like Asteroids for the Atari. It looks sick as hell, right? I mean, I bet the gameplay looks really cool too. The creativity needed to market games led to some questionable decisions. I think a lot of these commercials are just a product of their time. Like, this was peak grunge and skater culture. Everybody was popping all those big ass Osiris shoes and the Cookie Monster hats. All the toys were advertised as ways to like gross out and annoy your sister. They'd be like shit scented fake bugs, which obviously is gonna gross you out if you're a girl. Us boys actually really like the smell of shit. Right? You guys know what I'm saying. So I think that culture is the reason why we saw a lot of raunchy, shock value type commercials. Like the Game Boy Micro commercial where they just have the mouse fuck the Game Boy. I will say, if there's anybody that you know that was convinced to buy a Game Boy after watching that, I'd suggest getting as far away from them as humanly possible. It did seem like sex was a pretty common trope in a lot of these commercials. Like the Modern Warfare 2 commercial where that old guy's talking about like threesomes and like coming on people and stuff.
Some people have steady aim and others just spray everywhere.
But it turns out, whoop, he's just talking about Call of Duty. He's not talking about sex. They didn't even show like gameplay or say what the game was or anything. Like I can imagine how many clueless parents there were out there. You know, their kids have been bugging them to buy them Call of Duty because all their friends have it. And they're sitting down to watch TV one day and they see an ad come on with some old dude talking about people fucking each other and coming all over each other.
Some like deeper penetration when they do it. Some people get scared and pull out right in the middle of...
And then they see it's for the game that their kids have been asking for. And then they're like, what the fuck? I'm gonna buy 2 for me. Speaking of sex, let me tell you about a dude that I would like to have sex... I couldn't think of a good segue, man. Come on, give me a break. Seeing Kevin Butler's face for a lot of you is probably throwing you into some intense flashbacks. Like, this dude was everywhere when the PS3 was coming out. And you know what? I miss him. Sony was putting out some bangers when KB was around.
Day 10 with McGuire's and things are getting real.
Source.
See, with PlayStation Move's super precise control, it's only natural to get a little caught up in the action.
You're adopted.
Ladies?
She's a bad mama jama.
I feel like we don't really see as many spokespeople as we used to. Like now it's just like celebrities and stuff. But we used to have like Phil Swift.
That's a lot of damage.
And like Billy Mays and the ShamWow guy. Jared Fogle. Okay, I get it. I see why they don't. That makes sense now. Going back and watching all these old commercials had me thinking, what happened to this guy? Like, he just kind of disappeared from Sony's ads, and I don't really think I remember seeing him in anything else. Turns out Sony was too busy suing him because he took an ad with Bridgestone tires, and in that ad, he was playing the Wii. Luckily for Sony, the best video game commercials, they didn't need a spokesperson. That's right, we're talking about the cinematic video game commercials. That's what we've all been waiting for. There were so many iconic video game ad campaigns while I was growing up, and they did such a good job at making you feel like you were gonna fucking die if you didn't buy their game. The first one that comes to mind for me, and really the whole reason I wanted to make this video, was the Halo 3 Believe campaign. There's a multiple commercial campaign where each one was like a faux documentary about the Human Covenant War, where they'd interview like old veterans that used to fight alongside Master Chief. It was really cool. You can watch all the ads cut together into one video on YouTube, and it really feels like you're watching like a short film. Like, they did a really good job at paying attention to the tiny details and building out this amazing, super interesting world. If you didn't know it was for Halo, you would have thought like this was an actual war that happened, that these were actual people that fought alongside each other in that war.
We had to scavenge all we could from the weapons that had been left behind. The pistols, shotgun rounds, a handful of grenades.
Do you remember where you were?
When Master Chief armed his grenade, I was in the back of an overturned Warthog firing an M41.
The amount of commitment that went into these commercials, like you could tell it was a passion project for these guys, because they could have taken the easy way out. You know, Halo 1 and 2 were so popular, they could have just put out a commercial with like straight gameplay footage for the third one. It still would have sold like crazy. People love the franchise. But you could tell the people behind the marketing just really loved the universe that Halo takes place in. And they wanted to build that out and just immerse everybody into that world. It just goes to show we need a Halo TV show. Because they haven't made one yet. They have not made a Halo TV show yet. In the final commercial, panning through the diorama with that beautiful soundtrack playing, all of it was made by hand because they wanted to pay respect to the battle that was fought, so they wanted it made by human hands and not by machine. Like, it's so cool. Halo just went so hard on all their ads. Like ODST and Reach, both of those trailers were amazing. They're just like 2-minute short films with amazing world building and great storytelling in just 2 minutes. It's awesome, dude. I remember Dead Island being another one with an amazing trailer. I remember Jeff from Achievement Hunter reacting to it. That's the first time I saw it.
All right. I made it till they started to reverse the little girl falling out of a window, I'm guessing. What a bunch of assholes.
And everybody was going crazy over it. You know, it went super viral. I never ended up playing Dead Island, though. And I never really heard much about it. So I always kind of assumed it was just kind of like mid. I don't know. Did any of you guys play Dead Island? Is it worth checking out, like, now? I feel like it's probably not. But let me know. Maybe I'm missing out on a gem, you know? Assassin's Creed had some pretty awesome cinematic trailers back in the day, too. I remember everybody would gather around on the school computers. We watched the literal trailers for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood from fucking Tobuscus. That's when you know you're hitting old man status. You're dropping fucking Tobuscus references. You guys remember when he was on that Annoying Orange show?
Seller, not a doctor.
What?
I inhaled a lot of engine smoke.
That explains it. Now get back in there and make her space-worthy.
The lanyard? Oh, right, the ship, right!
I tell you what, for that to be the second worst thing in your career, you gotta fuck up pretty bad. Anyways, yeah, I'm starting to ramble, but yeah, I just feel like video game commercials are kind of a lost art form. Like, you used to have a 30-second TV spot to try and get people interested in your game. And now it's like whenever a game's announced, people rush to YouTube, Instagram, wherever to find like gameplay footage and reviews. Really leaning into my unk status here, but things used to be better back in the day, you know? They don't make them like they used to. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm gonna go buy a Game Boy Micro for no reason at all. Peace out.